Sabah al-Khair, good morning dear listeners. You're listening to Radio 3CR on 855 AM and Palestine Remembered with Robert Martin, Nasser Mashni and Yusuf Ahmed al-Rimawi.
Palestine Remembered is Australia's only English language radio program that is totally dedicated to Palestine. We'd like to welcome those listening on 855 and those that will join us on podcast at 3cr.org.au.
Thanks for joining us. Stay with us and enjoy the episode.
Bringing you the news and views and the untold side of the Palestinian struggle for freedom from a Palestinian perspective. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Nasser. How are you?
Mate, I'm doing very well, very well. I forgot to mention last week that Ramadan was starting and to wish all of our listeners a Ramadan Kareem. So to everyone fasting, we hope that your prayers and fasts will be accepted and we wish you a blessed month of Ramadan. Robert, but we've got one of your dear friends on the show joining us today.
We have a dear friend, Doc Jazz, or Tariq Shadid, who I spent a bit of time with overseas. He's a Palestinian who is a songwriter, an instrumentalist, author, but also a surgeon. Doc Jazz, welcome.
Thank you very much, and great to see you again, Robert, and very nice to meet Nasser as well. It's really, I'm really delighted.
It's a pleasure to have you on, Tariq. I remember seeing a play somewhere, and the theme of the play, it was a very fun sort of Palestinian play, if there's ever such a thing, but this one was fun. And the mother had come home and the son said that he wanted to be an architect. And she said, look, there's 3 Ds. You can be a doctor, a dentist, or a disappointment. So you need to recalibrate what you want to be. So congratulations on not being a disappointment, Tariq.
Well, I don't think that when you're a doctor or a dentist, it guarantees not being a disappointment. But anyway, I appreciate it.
Why don't you tell us firstly, Tariq, your Nakba story? How did you end up where you are?
Yeah, well, my family is from the 1967 territories, so commonly referred to as the West Bank, our area. We are from Allar, which is a village near Tulkarem. And in the early 60s, my dad went to study in the Netherlands. And while he was studying in 1967, the Israelis invaded our area. And they took over. And until that time, he was getting money sent by his father for study and for everything. And from 1967, that just ended abruptly. So he had to take jobs in order to pay college fees and everything. And I think that there are more Palestinians who relate to that. But that moment of occupation is actually the moment in which your rights disappear. Your right to live in Palestine is gone. It depends on the situations vary from person to person, and it has a lot to do with where you were at the time of occupation. So if you were outside of Palestine at that time, then it's lost to you. You can't be a resident. You can't go home. So I'm not the son of refugees, but what would we call what we are? We are banished, or in any case, we can't live in Palestine.
So did your father ever get to go back?
Well, yeah, after many years, I think in 1973, he requested a tasrih, which is a permit to visit. And then you get a temporary tasrih. And it was always very difficult to obtain the tasrih. It requires your family over there to file numerous requests, which can be rejected. After a lot of efforts, you can obtain the tasrih, and then you can visit and go back. And in 1973, when we all went there, actually, I was 5 at the time, so I was very young. I must say that that visit affected me very, very deeply. I still remember things very intensely from that specific visit, which I think don't relate to what your normal memory is of things when you were 5. First of all, I mean, this was the first time that I saw soldiers, and I felt a threat of occupation and soldiers and that situation. And the other thing, and that is why you still find me so passionate about Palestine. Palestine immediately, to me, became a very, very personal thing. It's not only is it a great injustice, and I think that is why so many people around the world are rallying for our cause, because they see the grave injustice in it. But when it's personal, when you actually feel that that is your home, I mean, until that time, I was, growing up to be 5 years old in the Netherlands, where we were foreigners. I was living in an environment in a school where I felt that there was something very different about me, not really belonging there. And coming to Palestine and visiting my family was like stepping into a warm bath. Just the amount of love that I felt there, and everybody treated me like I belonged there because I was the son of my dad. When you suddenly enter a village where everybody that you meet is related to you, is your family, that just was an incredible experience to me. It bonded me to Palestine forever. I remember even not wanting to leave. So when we went back to Holland, I was like, no, I want to stay here. This is, why are we going back? It didn't make any sense to me.
I had the very same experience. The smells are our smells, the sounds are sounds. You feel a different sort of home. Not that the Netherlands isn't your home, that you were born there, etc. Not that Australia isn't mine, but it's not home.
Exactly. I mean, of course, as, let's say, banished people, we managed to make a living in various places. I've now been living in the Emirates for 13 years. And it feels more like home to me now than the Netherlands. And that's fine. I mean, I could live here another 20 years, but I will never be really, really home. Not in that way, that not exactly like you said, it's home, but there is a logic which relates to the experience of having roots somewhere, being in a place where people can place you. They can place you in a very automatic, natural way. It's like you're the son of Wasif. Well, Wasif is the son of Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman is the son of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're in a place where wherever you walk, people can place you. Like even if I go to the city, which is nearest to our village, which is Tulkarem, or if I go to Nablus, they ask me, where are you from? Or who are you? I could just give my family name and they could tell where I belong, where I'm from. There is another thing, and I think that connects to language. I think it's very important. If your primary language is Palestinian Arabic, like it is in my case, this is the language that I grew up speaking. And if that is, this actually means that whenever you're anywhere else, you can't really speak that language. I mean, obviously in Holland, I can. I mean, nobody would understand me. Here in the Emirates, they would understand me actually, but I wouldn't talk that way here. I would speak something which still probably has a big Palestinian influence, but is mixed with like some kind of a general Arabic thing. And so I'm still a stranger here because that is not what people around me are speaking. So nowadays, now that I'm a big old grown up and I'm walking in Al-Quds or in Ramallah or in Nablus, where I can just feel, I could just release all the muscles in my throat and in my tongue and in my cheeks, and I can just blurt out whatever I want to blurt out without any modification and thinking that I have to be understandable to people. I could just speak naturally everywhere I go. Now that
there's no mask,
no mask, no nothing, and that means I'm really home. I'm where I belong.
Yeah,
and it's a very intense feeling because, and that's very, very, very weird because don't think that I'm suicidal or anything. Far from that. But when I'm there, I'm like, okay, so if I die now, it's totally fine. I have no problem with it because I'm in a place where I belong. It's a very weird thing because I would rather be connected to living there actually than to dying there. But the actual fact that you're feeling that you're in a place where if you should die, that is totally fine. This is natural, and that means that you're actually haunted subconsciously by the idea, like as a permanent thing in your brain, where you're feeling that if you're going to die now, you're going to die away from home. There's something not okay about that, and that part which is not okay disappears when I'm in Palestine, because now I'm really home.
I've always found it amazing the blood running through the Palestinian veins, no matter where they are on earth. Palestine is where their heart is, and it's a exceptionally strong bond.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And if you have that bond that way, I think in the Palestinian situation, different from perhaps if you're from another Arab country or from another country, period, the fact that you're deprived, you can. It's not I don't accept that it's not a choice for me to live there. I feel that as a very, very grave injustice to me, a personal.
Yep.
This is why I started out saying that. I'm extremely appreciative of all the efforts that are being made by non-Palestinians like you, Rob, who really feel for our cause and who see the injustice of it. And the difference will always remain that, to me, I am an actual, for me, it actually means that I am deprived of something that is mine. That even if I'm born in another country, I'm born in the Netherlands and you were born in Australia, and you've lived all your life there, and I've lived all my life, a big portion of my life in Holland. But the difference will always be that for me, this is personal. I was robbed as a person. I think that adds an extra dimension to everything that I do, because it is a first person commentary. And you might think that Palestinians who live in the West Bank would view that as strange. They might think that, you know what, we're the ones who've been living here under occupation. We're the ones who have been, having our lives disrupted. We can't develop properly. We're having to do impossible things just to finish school. We're having to do impossible things just to get a degree in university. We don't really feel we have a future, but this is just a matter of degrees. So yes, they definitely have been robbed more than I have, because they are living a daily. They're being terrorized daily by the occupation, and I'm not. I can hold up a Dutch passport and say, don't touch me. I'll complain to the embassy, and they can't do that.
I wanted to talk about your music and the way you're explaining your affiliation or attachment to Palestine. The way you explain it shows that you're a songwriter, because it's just smooth and you can feel it. Now, I know that you've done a few songs. How many songs have you done? How many instruments do you play? And how's that music affected you growing up? Because I know you've done it for a long time.
Yeah, nice question. It's absolutely true that once I started dedicating my music to Palestine, that emotion came out. So I'm very glad that you can hear it. That you can hear it in the songs and in the lyrics. I started that in 2000, in the year 2000, and in all the years before that, I'm self-taught on all instruments that I play on. I started on a guitar when I was 13, and on a piano when I was 16, and on a shibabe, which is Palestinian flute, when I was 17. And I think the darbika has kind of always been there, which is the hand drum. Then I obtained oud. The oud is like the king of Arabic music in the instruments. Yep. I play on that too. I figured out how to play it. And this is how I did it with all the instruments. I just play by ear. I can't read notes. And then I learned drums and bass. And of course, if you play piano, then the road is wide open to the keyboards and synthesizers. Those are the main instruments that I play.
I remember when I was reading about you didn't charge for the songs. The songs all have fantastic names like Justice, and they're heavy lyrics, but you did it as a musical book, basically, so people could listen to it but learn about Palestine.
Absolutely.
That's pretty true?
That's totally true. Yeah. I never charge for my songs. You can always download them for free. You asked me, I think, how many I have. I think I have over 110 online.
I did know that, but I wanted you to say
that. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's only natural that they should be free. I never made music with the idea that I want to make money off of it. I always made music with the idea that I want people to hear me and then our story as well. Because not all my songs are about Palestine. I write about everything that I feel. And because I have such a strong feeling for Palestine, that is why there's so much Palestine in what I write.
That's brilliant, Tyler. So why don't we play Intifada now? Tell us just very quickly what the song's about, and then we'll play Intifada.
Well, that's awesome. Intifada is the first song that I did that was about Palestine, and back in those days, it was very hard to get music on the internet. It wasn't like today where you have Spotify and all these other things. So I had my own website. When I wrote Intifada and I recorded and I finished it, I changed the name of my website to The Musical Intifada. And Intifada became the flagship song, and it was very popular. I've had, I don't know how many downloads, like maybe 100,000 downloads back in those days or more. I stopped counting because it was so being downloaded so much. And so in those days, if you owned a website and you had you had your own song, you could do a thing like that. And now it's very hard. It's an ocean of songs out there. But Intifada is about it's really a core thing about the struggle. And what I like very much about Intifada is that it refers to the UN resolution that was discarded, which stems back, I think it dates back to 76, where the whole world agreed that Zionism is racism. So that's United Resolution 3379. And I say in the song, you wiped it from the records, but not from our minds. So we still believe that 3379, it was removed as a political deal in 1991 when Bush Sr. wanted to attack Iraq. And then part of the deal to form the coalition was to get that resolution out of the way. But Zionism is racism, and so they wipe it from the record, but it's still in our mind. This is still what we believe, and this is what everyone will believe and understand if they really understand what's going on.
I just want to read one thing that's before you put it on, and this is from the song. It says, "You better stop breaking our bones. You better stop wrecking our homes. You better stop stealing our lands. Beware of the anger of the innocent."
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think that line, "Beware of the anger of the innocent," actually isn't mine. I'm trying. It is, somebody had made a painting, and I'm just afraid to get it wrong. And I should give credit, and I used to give credit for that line on my website. But I've aged a bit. I've forgotten who it was, but it was a Palestinian artist.
It's really good.
He was a Palestinian artist, and he had made a beautiful painting of like an Intifada painting with a guy holding a stone, and he said, "Beware the anger of the innocent." So I was like, wow, that fits into the song perfectly.
So this is Intifada by Doc Jazz.
من علينا على النهى ومن علينا على النهى انتفاضة شعبية انتفاضة شعبية انتفاضة شعبية.
Occupation is a hazardous game. If you get your hands dirty, it will burn you like a flame. They want us to bow down, surrender our hometown. They're building colonies, creating a showdown. It's not political or matter analytical. It's plain and straight war crimes targeting civilians. North American Indians betraying Aboriginals, the people of the land, all wiping to oblivion. It's never right to steal another people's country. Your implements philosophy is smothered your morality. No fake excuses, no media control can cover up the crime that is vivid to us all.
Just to live their life in peace. They're occupied, can't control their lives, 'cause they're fighting to be free.
Have you heard the story about 1948? I'm sure you heard a story, but not what took place. Ethnic cleansing like the kind you saw in Kosovo, protected by the powerful, treated also lovable. Justice, see they don't know what that is. Say power is a healthy way of solving the squiz. Military power, economical power, without continuous infusions, it won't last an hour.
You better stop breaking our bones. You better stop wrecking our homes. You better stop stealing our land.
Beware of the anger of the innocent.
There are people trying just to live their life in peace. They're occupied, can't control their lives, 'cause they're fighting to be free.
It's a tragedy People of the world, beware of Zionism. It's a racist ideology of National Socialism. United Nations Resolution 3379. You heard it from the records, but not from our minds. Never give up. We're ready for the fight. We'll never give up. We struggle to survive. We'll never give up. Beloved Palestine, we're rising up to rescue Palestine. Never give up. We're ready for the fight. We'll never give up. We struggle to survive. We're rising up. Intifada, rising up. Intifada.
There are people trying just to live their life in peace. Everyone occupied can't control their lives 'cause they're fighting to be free.
We're rising up. We'll never give up. We're rising up. We'll never give up. Intifada, we're rising up. Intifada, we'll never give up. Intifada, we're rising up. Intifada, we'll never give up. We're rising up. 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 We'll never give up.
And that was fantastic, Tata. Thanks so very much for sharing that song with us.
Thank you.
Palestinians the world over, we've watched what's happened in the Ukraine with Russia, and we've seen the world jump up and down, Tata. I think there's an opportunity there because now the world knows what sanctions are, how quickly we can act. The Palestinians have been calling for boycott, divestment and sanctions of apartheid Israel for many years. Increasingly, Western human rights organizations have started to acknowledge that Israel's an apartheid state. And most recently, Amnesty, which included all of historic Palestine, but also Palestinians like yourself and I, that, based on the fact of the denial of our right to return, our inalienable right to return, that Israel is in fact practicing apartheid against you and I. Here we are. Zelensky is addressing the UN. He's calling for the UN to be dismantled, dissolved if they won't expel Russia. He's addressing parliaments all over the world. And we're just sitting by, why the hypocrisy and duplicity?
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. In that sense, I felt that all of the Palestinians and even our supporters were feeling the same thing, because let's take it from the point of view of the supporters. They've been calling for things. They've been trying to get the world's attention to do something about an invaded earth, which is being defended by its indigenous population. And now we're seeing suddenly symbols of resistance, because, let's be honest, what is a Molotov cocktail against modern weaponry? It's really almost nothing. So it's mostly a symbolic resistance, and it's a very dangerous resistance. If you put yourself out there, you might die. So when somebody does that, and if somebody goes out on the street with a Molotov cocktail or just with a stone, he's not expecting to free Palestine with the stone. He is expressing his resistance. He is showing the resilience of, this is our land, and we're not gonna let you just take our land without doing anything. So we're gonna do something, and we are challenging you. So this is a very, very important part of the whole Palestinian resistance, because we all are aware that we don't have an army. And if Napoleon stepped out of his grave for a second and had a look at the situation and said, what do you think militarily, what's going to happen here? Then he's going to say, what these people are doing is useless because they can't win this. And he is right from a military strategic point of view. It's impossible to win this. But that's not how we are trying to win this. We're trying to win this on a symbolic level and on the level of changing minds and showing the world that a people is refusing to be subjugated. And in order for that to work, you need to get the solidarity of the world for that. So if the Palestinians keep throwing stones all the time and everybody ignores them always, then it can never work. And if Zelensky gives Kalashnikovs to untrained people, untrained civilians, then it's also an illusion to think that these people are going to be able to free a Russian street from a heavily, an Ukrainian street from a heavily trained Russian army. So this is where we become really disillusioned and really insulted and angry, that to see people cheering that on. I mean, we're not angry that they cheer that on. We understand. We can identify with Ukrainians facing an invading force. This is very easy for us. It's even easier for us than those who aren't occupied and aren't invaded. So we might even feel more solidarity for them than what they're thinking. They're maybe doing it from other motives. But the point here is that if you're cheering them on like this, and especially in the first days, I mean, there was only a week had passed and people were given heroic status. Things were being said about the Ukrainians, that they're like, this is the most fierce defense ever put up by a people against an invading force. Excuse me. I mean, we're talking almost 8 decades here of Palestinians rising up. And I don't take it from 1948, because Palestinian resistance, real Palestinian resistance, started in 1936 with that first intifada. The real first intifada was 1936, and people can look it up in their history books and they'll find out about it. So the Palestinians have been fighting with sticks and stones, basically, and with poor weaponry against the invader for a very, very long time, and without support. And then you get other people who are subjected to a similar situation getting 500,000 times the amount of support that the Palestinians have been given over 8 decades. And they're getting that poured over them in one day. And now the challenge is there, our challenge to the world community and our challenge from all us, together with all of those who support us, is not only, don't tell us that this is only about, just politics. It's just because it's closer to home. It's just, it really, really looks racist. It looks extremely racist to respond with this double standard in this extreme way of calling a Palestinian a terrorist. So making him the guy who's wrong, the Palestinian who's going out on the street with a stone. And I shouldn't say him, I should say him and her, because our women are in this just as much and putting in everything they have. And the Ukrainian is a hero. So one is elevated into something really big, like heroic, and the other one is vilified to the level of being a terrorist. And a terrorist is the ugliest person in the world, because a terrorist is somebody who is out there just to destroy. He doesn't have any any goal that you can stand behind. He's just doing something out of spite and anger, and it's a very, very ugly thing. So if you call us terrorists, you are violating who we are, what we are, to the deepest essence, because we are doing the minimum of what we can do or what we should do for defending our land, and even that minimum is being called terrorism. They've glued terrorism on kids who are 12 years old and throwing stones in the street. They call them terrorists. How dare they? How dare they? Yeah, really, really upsetting.
It's been fantastic chatting to you. We've already run out of time. Good news, we've anointed you our Palestine Remembered Gulf correspondent, so we'll be coming back to you a couple of more times this year, inshallah. Wish you a very blessed Ramadan. And to our listeners, be sure to share the podcast, tell your friends, and remember, there's never been a better time for a free Palestine.